right, everybody, welcome back to the Best Damn Podcast. And we got a special one today, man. We do. I'm excited to be honest with you. I can't thank my man enough for taking the time to do this. We got Gabe Arnold, U20 World Team member, newest addition to the Iowa Hawkeyes.
Not world team member yet, just Pan Am champ. So.
Oh wait, so you ain't going up to you
No,
ain't on the U20s yet?
I lost in the best 2 out of 3 finals at World Team Trials. I lost first match, lost the first match, won the second match, lost third match. So it happens.
Wait a minute. To who?
Matthew Singleton, actually one of my old trading partners.
Bro, I thought so that's my mistake. That's my mistake. But I appreciate you correcting me because honestly, like everything I even looked up, like because like I remember you beating Rocco, and then that led you to at the U.S. Open, and that led you to the best of 3. And I thought you won it, but I appreciate the correction, my guy. Like out here telling people the wrong, but man, because the way you looked at the Pan AMs too was just like this man should be. He should be that guy. You know what I mean? Like, bro, you're wrestling phenomenal, bro. You really are.
For sure. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, how did you feel after that Pan Am's? I mean, bro, like honestly, like glad to see Nick got it, Buzakis with the gold shoes. But when I looked at it, like it was like between you and him because you both were so dominant, man. Like you both were killers in that whole tournament. How'd you feel?
I mean, it felt great. It felt good to just compete again. And for a while now, I've just been really focusing on just getting to my attacks, getting to my scores, and just lighting up the scoreboard. And I think Pan Am's, that's exactly what I did. So it was good to see all the training and see all the stuff I've been working on pay off. So it was just a really good feeling. My parents were there. My mom and dad were both there. So it was good to see them. It was good to have them there with me and support me. It was my mom's first time out of the country besides like trips to Bahamas and stuff like that. So it was great, man. It was just awesome. It was a great experience. It was just, everything was just surreal. That's a really simple word to put to describe it. So.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad it is. It sounds like the whole. I mean, you've done a lot here this past year. You guys, the whole family's been doing a lot of moving and visiting and doing some traveling, huh?
Absolutely.
But we'll jump to that, man. And honestly, I feel bad. I apologize because honest to God, bro, I would been even telling guys at work like, bro, get with Gabe Arnold, man. He's a U20 World Team member. Like, yeah.
The whole process kind of like it's a lot. Like, you win U.S. Open, but if you win the U.S. Open, you're not on the world team. You just sit in the finals, and then you have a whole nother tournament, and then the guy goes through the middle tournament or the mini tournament, and you wrestle him in the finals. It's super complicated, so it's hard to get mixed up. So, but it's no problem.
Absolutely, man. But I definitely appreciate it and apologize for that. And that's on me because I try to do my homework before, and how I missed that is crazy. But because that's huge. But at the end of the day, like you're very deserving of that and I think the future's bright to where like I'm still. Brother, you're going to be on a world team because you just keep grinding and keep getting better. So I'm okay with saying it.
Absolutely.
But man, how did it all start for you? What led you to jumping on a mat? How did Gabe Arnold get introduced to wrestling?
Yeah, so I come from a very long line of family. I don't know if you know, but my cousin's actually Jaden Cox. So the line started with my dad actually, and my dad wrestled in Missouri, the state of Missouri. Wrestled for Mizzou for a season or a year or so, and then some things happened, so we ended up leaving the university. And then it went from my dad to Jaden's oldest brother, Zach Arnold. Zach wrestled, was a couple times state champ. Then it went to Dre, Jaden's second older brother. He won a couple state titles. I think he placed at nationals as well. And then it went to Jaden. Jaden was obviously, 3-time NCAA champ, world 2-time world champ, Olympic bronze medalist, list of accolades. And then it went to my brother, and my brother started wrestling. He wasn't the greatest. I think we can count on the number of 2 hands how many matches he won, but wrestling was never really his thing.
Yeah.
My brother's always really been good with his hands. So, wrestling just wasn't his thing. But at that point in time, I first started wrestling when I was like maybe 6 or 7 years old. And I wrestled in a local club in Albany, Georgia. Well, it was actually a college, and they had a club team in Albany, Georgia called Darton State College. And they had like a club team kind of built in. So I started wrestling there. I went to my first tournament, and I lost every single match, but I got a medal. So I was super excited. And but after that tournament, I kind of stopped wrestling. I started doing other sports, well, mainly only soccer. I played soccer, and then my dad ended up starting his own wrestling club in South Georgia. And then fourth grade, I think that was around fourth grade year when I started back up wrestling again. And then, ever since then, since fourth grade year to now, I think it's been like 8 or so years, probably around 10, something like that. But, it's just, I've just been sticking with the sport ever since, and I haven't looked back. So it's kind of where the journey started when I was really young at a club, a college club that had a youth club as well at Darton. And then it went from Darton to Alpha Omega, which is my dad's club in South Georgia that he used to run. And then now I'm here, getting ready to wrestle for the Iowa Hawkeyes. So
I know that's how that's got to be exciting too, man. Out of all the things you do, so you're growing up in Georgia, you're doing your thing, and then you take off to PA, correct?
Yep, yes, sir.
And you hit Wyoming Seminar, and you end up winning 2 national prep championships. And what from going from Wyoming Sem, which Sem, I know the head coach left it, and I'm gonna guess that played a little bit into the factor of you taking this senior year. You go to what, City High, or you go to City High, and what I take it that's what led to it, or what made you leave Sem after all the success and everything once you
Yeah,
left Georgia?
I mean, the year honestly started off really well. My junior year, I actually ended up winning the Who's Number One mini tournament. I beat Braden Thompson and Rocco Welsh. So, the year started off really well, and everything seemed to be going well. And then college visits, I had like college visits right after Who's Number One. Like my whole month of October was just filled with college visits. University of Iowa, Maryland, UNC, University of Missouri, Virginia Tech, unofficial to Penn State. It was just loaded. And so just a lot of things happened there. My weight kind of ballooned off. I wasn't really disciplined, and getting down to certify, because the next tournament coming up was Ironman. And so, I had to get down to weight. I had to certify for weight first. So that was a struggle getting back down. And then finally I got down and I certified for weight, so that way I could wrestle at Ironman. So I did that. And then Ironman was here. I wrestled pretty good the day one, and
I got to see you. I got to see
yeah,
you.
wrestled pretty well day one, and then day two came around, and just the weight was just super hard to get off. It was just, and it wasn't because of anyone else. It was just because of my lack of discipline, and just things weren't in line for me, and they weren't clicking for me. Simple way to say it.
Respect
So
it.
I'm missing weight
Respect.
too, and then so after that, I was like, I got to get back on the wagon. So I got back on the wagon, trained hard, got my weight down where it needed to be. Powerade came around, and wrestled there. Wrestled through day two, made weight day two. That was already a plus for me. I was like, perfect, this is great. Wrestled Danny Wask in the semis, lose that match. And then after that, I lost that match to him, and then I wrestled my Conti semis match, lost to Rocco, and I was like, screw this, I'm done. So I was just going through a real roller coaster of emotions between Who's Number One to really Powerade, and I was just like, what the heck is going on?
You're feeling up here, and then all of a
it was
sudden,
just, I was really high highs and really low lows. For a guy like me, losing 2 matches in a row, I'm like, what the hell? Hell, even missing
what happened? Yeah.
Even missing weight, it's just like, what the heck? This never happens to me. I've never been in a situation before. So that happened, and then I had some time off after Powerade, and I just told myself, it's time to get back on the horse, time to get back to work, time to do what I'm good at, time to get everything, all my ducks in line, all that. I ended up committing the 1st of January to the University of Iowa. So I had that stress off, and I was like, I felt great. Once I committed, I was like, I felt free again. I felt like I could be myself, because the college recruiting process is just, it's a lot, man. You got coaches calling you all the time, texting you, and they're like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, I was doing the same thing I was doing an hour ago, just waiting for the dorm parents to come check me in for the night. So so I committed. Everything was great. And then that week came back to Sim because we were on break, actually, still on winter break, I think. Was it winter break? Yeah, it was winter break. We're still on winter break. We still had like a week till we got back to Sim. So, that week comes around, and I'm like, I'm ready to get back on the horse. I feel good. My mind feels good. My body feels good. I'm ready to go. That Sunday, I will go to a practice, and I'm wrestling. I'm feeling really good. We decided to go live. I feel great. I go live. And my foot stays in the mat, and my knee turns, So I'm like, I freak out. I heard this big pop. I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, I can't even walk, man. And that actually, it's crazy because at that end of the week we had the Blair duel, the biggest duel in and like almost in history.
Yeah,
Especially for the Wyoming Seminary and the Blair communities, that's the big duel of the year. That's what everyone is supporting. The number one versus number two. It's awesome. The atmosphere is great. The wrestling's great. Everything's awesome.
Absolutely. I'm an Ohio guy, and I look forward to it every year.
Exactly. Everyone just loves to see that match. It's just such high-level wrestling,
Yes, sir.
So I messed up my knee, and I didn't really know what was going on. In the back of my head, I'm like, I'm still wrestling. I feel great. Like there's nothing. There's no way I can't compete. And so I can't really walk. Knees kind of messed up. So I go to our trainer at Sim, and talk to him. I go to the doctor, and I get MRIs, and it turns out my meniscus is displaced. So technically, what that is so your meniscus is like a triangle. Well, when my leg turned, my meniscus flipped. So it was literally like a sandwich in my knee, in my right knee. So I just fixed my knee, and they call it a they don't call it an emergency, they call it an urgency, because basically if you don't have that surgery, almost like instantly once the injury happens, your leg, I couldn't straighten my leg. Your leg won't be able to straighten out ever again.
And you're still wanting to wrestle this duel, bro. You're a dog for that.
I'm like, there's no way I can wrestle this. I'm like, I don't care if I can't straighten my leg. I'll figure it out. Figure out something. But it wasn't in my playing cards. So that happened. So I ended up missing the rest of my season. And that just from there, it was just a straight roller coaster down. I didn't feel great. I wasn't happy. The realization of not being able to get my third national prep title, I was like, what the heck, man? I put in all this time and work just to, I wanted to be a 4-time prep national champion. Very few guys can say they've done that. And that was my goal. I wanted to do it. And then, just to have that season taken away from me, it sucked, and just everything after that was downhill. After the injury, weight was still high. I got my weight back up because I was just upset, depressed, you name it, dude. It wasn't a great time. And I tried to change my focus. I was like, all right, well, I can't do this. So it's time for World Team Trials. Let's do World Team Trials. Weight's terrible. I think that the week of for trials, I was still like 20 over. It was bad. And it was I don't know how I made weight that first day, but I did. And, I wrestled Zach Ryder in the quarters, lose to Zach Ryder. Tried to get the weight off day 2, and my body just couldn't do it. It just shut down, and I just wasn't able to get the weight off. It was tough, and Was
there ever a thought of bumping up so you didn't have to do the cutting?
I thought about it, but it's so weird for cadets because the weights are like 80 kilos, then it jumps straight to 92 kilos, which is
it is a huge jump.
I was weighing about 200 pounds, but I'm not naturally a 200-pound guy. Like I'm 5'7", barely 5'7". So it's there's no way, so I was just like, I just got to get down the weight. This is my weight. This is where I feel good at. 170 is where I felt really good at. 176 even, I had like 6+ pounds added to it. So I was like, there's no way I can't make it. Made it day 1. It was super hard to make it day 1. And day 2, body couldn't do it. I put so much fluids in my body that my body literally needed it and clung to it. And I couldn't get it off because I literally felt like I was dying. It was the worst weight cut I've ever been to.
That's great.
So, after that, I was still depressed, still just not in the right mindset. And my parents and I decided that maybe not wrestling the rest of that summer would be good. It just gives me time just to recuperate, get my mind back where it needs to be, get my mind and body connected. It was just a good time for me to have some downtime, just get ready for this next leg. And to me, that next leg was still staying at Sim and trying to get a third national prep title instead of 4. But me and my parents, we had some conversations, and they knew that they wanted, no matter what, they wanted to be there for my senior year. They wanted to be there whether I was at Sim or I was here in Iowa City. It didn't matter. They wanted to be with me, and I wanted that too, because not having my biggest support system when I was going through one of the roughest spots in my life was it was detrimental, dude. I didn't know what to do. I'd call my parents just in tears just because I had nowhere else to turn. And obviously
100%.
I always knew I could turn to them, but they weren't there, and that was the time I really, really needed my parents. Yeah. And I think they saw that, and they were like, there's no way he's going through his senior year. No matter where he is, there's no way he's doing this. I talked to my parents a couple times, and I was just set on staying at Sim because I'm not the type of guy to jump ship when things get a little rocky. I'm like, I'm gonna stick this through. I'm gonna figure this out. And my parents were like, maybe it'd be a good idea to go to City High, or not even. We weren't even thinking about going to City High, just to go to Iowa City and just be able to train to the college, train at the college early. And so I ended up going to a duel. Actually, I think it was sometime after my surgery. I want to say it was February, a couple years, well, maybe a little bit farther back, maybe not February, maybe like March or so. It was Iowa versus Wisconsin, 2022. And so we went to that duel, and me and Ben have always been really close. Me and Ben Cater, we wrestled our 8th grade year together, wrestled against each other our 8th grade year. I won the match, whatever. Kind of like my claim to fame over him, but Ben have always been really close. And at that time, Colby Franklin, he had already left Sim to go to City High. So I was like, oh wow, he's doing it. And so Ben took me jokingly to go visit City High. And we go there. Of course, Coach Corey Connell's there. We hang out with them. I love the school. I thought it was great. And then we had a training camp before the U.S. Open, and my parents came out to that to see the university again and talk to the coaches. My parents came out to that, and they ended up going to see City High as well, meeting the coach, now meeting the principal. So it was just like, what the heck, So
this is for real now.
Yeah, I kind of felt for real, but at that time, I still was like, I'm staying at Sim. There's no way I'm leaving. My parents talked to me, and we had that conversation about going up there. And like after a little while, I was like, maybe this is what I need to do. Maybe getting away from this place is a good thing. And so I embraced it. We all decided to make the move out to Iowa City. And it's been great. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, you see the results, you see everything, you see the interviews of how I've been feeling. So this was the greatest move I think I've ever made. I think it was great. It was what I needed. It was everything. I got the technique, I got the coaches, I got the friends, I got the family, I got everything. I have everything I need here.
100%.
You
can see it in your wrestling, bro. Like just that your mentality, like you can see it. I mean, even whenever you were taking them losses, though, like you got to look at the names. That like it wasn't like it was just some random. I mean, you're talking about Rocco Welsh. I mean, you're throwing out some dogs, bro. So it's like even at your low point, I feel like and taking that step back was like I think you handled it great, bro. I do, and that probably is a lot.
Do for me and my career and my journey, and there was no better time to do it. I didn't want to miss my senior summer because obviously I wanted to make a world team, and I was like, this is the best time, and I'm not going to have another time to do it because after senior year, it's getting ready for the college season. So I was like, there's no better time to do it but now. So I took the whole summer off and I just trained. I went to the Olympic Training Center a couple times to train with the senior level guys and the cadet world team. So yeah, it made sense and it paid off. It paid dividends. I feel great. My body feels great. My mind feels great. Just everything's nothing short of amazing right now. So
awesome, bro. And it seems like it was too. Like even your parents, like for them to up and move, and honestly, like the way that I look at it, like you went 41-0 your senior year for City High. So like clearly it like you said, it was the best thing for you, man. And it shows. And even in your freestyle game, like to be honest, like I honestly think like you, Rocco, Josh, you three. I mean, there's more. I mean, I'm leaving out. There's like a group of like I think that whole weight class is just stacked. And right now with the best wrestling, I mean, you are number one. Like you know what I mean. And granted, this. I'm sure I could sit down and debate somebody on it, and they might have a different opinion. But like after your showing at Pan AMS, after your senior year, after the way you went through even the state finals, man, what a match, bro! Like just phenomenal. You wrestled him 4 times, got him all 4 times that year. But that state final, what, double overtime?
Double overtime.
It was like, yeah, and so I mean, just you wouldn't quit. You weren't gonna leave without that state title win. I watched it several times before we sat down. Like throughout the weeks that we've been talking, knowing that I was gonna. That's why I was so blown away when I first did the introduction because I've been like looking for everything up with this, and you weren't losing that match, and you could just see like you weren't taking it. You were getting that state title and that. How was that? Was that any different than the national preps? Like whenever winning that state title, was it different than the national preps?
I tell you, the Iowa state tournament experience is unlike anything I've ever, just competed in. It's crazy. It's loud in there. The stands are freaking packed. It's I went there and like Ben was telling me, all the guys were telling me throughout the week how crazy it's gonna be, and like they were making jokes like, I don't know if you can handle this, man. No, 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 all this stuff. I'm like, oh, you guys are just hyping it up, whatever. Like I get it. You guys are a bunch of homers. This is your state. Like
Yeah.
you have to. And I just thought they were just messing around. Even my coach, Coach Corey Connell, was like, yeah, it's gonna be crazy, dude. Like you got to be ready. I'm like, all right, dude, whatever. And sure enough, we get there. Even day one, I was like, holy heck, like these stands are packed. And Ben's like, dude, you haven't seen anything yet. Wait till the grand march. I'm like, all right, dude. There's already a lot of people here. There's no way this thing's gonna be packed. Come, fast forward a little bit. I make the finals. Grand march comes out. I walk out and I'm like, holy shit. I'm like,
That's
these
awesome,
stands,
bro. That's awesome.
people, it was unreal, dude. And winning that match and just seeing everyone just go crazy. I mean, me and Tate were one of the last matches that we were the last match.
They should have. They should have. They definitely should have let you all rock that shit. Yeah.
We were the last match wrestling at 182, and like it was crazy, man. It was unreal, and it felt awesome. Just ended my senior year on a high note. Everyone wants that storied finish, and I felt like I had that storied finish. I'm sure Tate wanted it too, but
I'm sure. Yeah, absolutely. Because he's what, a two-timer? I think he was a three-timer. Yeah,
going for three. And it's funny, the kid who stopped him from being a four-timer was Ben Keeter. So
yeah. And poor Tate, man. Like at the end of the day, like being a four-time finalist and just running into you and Ben is like, I mean, just listen to the names though. Like it's insane. And Tate he's an animal, man.
Yeah,
He is.
he is. Absolutely.
You couldn't have asked for a better finals. You couldn't, man.
I couldn't ask for a person just to keep me sharp the whole year. I mean, me and Tate we're pretty good friends, off the mat. It was pretty funny because whenever we would go to weigh in, we'd be sitting there joking with each other, and all these other kids are looking at us like, what the heck are they doing? Like they're probably just sitting there cracking jokes, just having a good time. They're like, what are they doing? So I'm really cool with Tate, even though he's going to Iowa State and going to be a Cyclone. Whatever.
Yeah.
But, on the mat, we're competitors, we're warriors, we're gonna go for blood time, but off the mat, we're pretty close. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely, man. And I tell you what, I mean, I think you got a hell of an attitude too, like, man, the way you approach it, the way you view things, and when you make this move, bro, these five snakes that you take with you, they go where you go. Because I see that you had them, and I'm like, why does this man have five snakes? And I mean, we're talking what you got. What was the names here? You had one's called Hawkeye. What the hell was the other four? I had them here. I mean, it was like, what got you into snakes? How did that all work out for you?
So my mom is actually, she's a biology teacher. So I grew up just loving like life science and animals in general, and
I'm terrified of.
Me and her used to National Geographic and Animal Planet together all the time. And one person I fell in love with was Crocodile Dundee, Steve Irwin.
Yes,
so, I was like, awesome. Like this dude's awesome. And like I saw him play with these snakes, and I fell in love with him, man. And seeing when he died, and freaking my heart broke. Of course.
Yeah, for sure.
But
he was awesome. He was the shit.
I know, just crazy. Stingray. Crazy.
Yeah, no doubt. Out of all the things that this dude messed with,
like right in his heart, like, dang, dude, like, come on. But I fell in love with him and watching him catch these snakes and these gators. So the love started with just reptiles in general. And then I was like, watch more stuff, more shows, and I just fell in love with snakes. And I mean, honestly, if I could have a 20-foot alligator in my room, I probably would. But and just so the love and the passion for snakes and reptiles, it started from there, and it's just grown. And now, I mean, after, wrestling is all said and done, I want to be a herpetologist, which is basically the study of reptiles, of amphibians, and reptiles and amphibians. And I specifically want to get into milking venomous snakes. That's my dream. That's what I really want to do. Besides being an Olympic champ and a world champ and all that fun stuff, I want to milk things that will probably kill me with one drop of venom. So that's kind of like my dream after everything's said and done, and I become a legend in this sport. I want to go play with things that are probably going to kill me. So
absolutely. But I'll tell you what, I believe you're going to be a legend in this sport, bro. And the fact that like you do, and I think you're jumping levels right now, and I'm sure you're feeling great too. But like, man, outside looking in, I don't think anybody wants to step in a circle with you right now, and it's I'm excited to see what you do, and I hope that you do because I really want to see this Carter Starocci match, bro.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do, and I think when I tweeted what I tweeted, I think it was taken out of context a lot. I think
I 100% agree. I think that
yeah,
you're a warrior, and
I
this is
think
just
there was a lot of homers from Penn State and a lot of people saying like, "What is this kid doing?" Nah, nah, nah. But I think more than
what are
anything,
you supposed to say? Hey, he's gonna
exactly. I
get
mean,
me, man. Let him get his
starters,
fourth.
yeah, for starters, I mean, I want to say you can't take away Starocci's accomplishments. Like the guy is the man to beat at 174 pounds.
Yeah,
It has
yeah,
nothing to do with singlet or anything like that. I mean, he's just the guy to beat. Whether he was at a small D1 school and he was still the same, he's the guy to beat. And that's
yeah.
not taking away anything from him. But with that tweet, I've talked to it a lot with my coaches from back in Georgia. But it wasn't it wasn't a disrespect thing. It was I did that to hold myself accountable. So me tweeting what I tweeted, it holds me to a certain standard, because I know I have to train way harder. I have to eat way better. I have to wake up way early to beat this guy, because
Yeah.
now I have to back up my words. I put myself way up here and I put myself on the stool so everyone can bark at me, talk crap about me, all of that. I put myself on that stool, not for everyone else, but for me. I did that so I can hold myself to a higher standard, so my coaches can hold me to a higher standard, so my training partners hold me to a higher standard, my friends, family, on and on and on, the people who hate on the internet, all of that, and I think that's what people forget. They think I'm just some punk. I thought I was some punk high school kid calling this guy out when, like, I have all the respect in the world for Starocci. I think he's an amazing wrestler, an amazing competitor, all of that. But that's the guy who I'm going to beat. That's who
Yeah,
I have my eyes set on, and as far as I'm concerned, he's the standard.
he
Obviously I
is.
want to be better than him and I want to do things way better than he ever did, but I'm gonna beat him. And I
Yeah,
think people fail to realize that that's what's gonna happen when the time comes. That's what's gonna happen, and no matter the times now, or 2 years from now, or a year from now, whatever the case may be, it's gonna happen. I know it's gonna happen. And that's really what I kind of want to just put out there for now. Like all the
yeah.
people who want to hate and say all that, it
Let
wasn't
him.
to take anything away from them, and like they're
Absolutely.
still gonna say what they want to say, do what they want to do. I really don't care. I did this, I did that, I tweeted what I tweeted to hold myself on a pedestal, to hold myself accountable, have everyone else who's in my circle around me to hold me accountable, and to do what I said I was gonna do, and I'm gonna do it.
I
So.
I think wrestling needs more guys like you, bro. Like to be honest with you, because now look at what even and I can appreciate because like you're saying, like it's not like hey, dude's trash. Like he's got lucky. He ain't wrestled. You ain't saying nothing like that. You're saying like, hey, I got it. Like, why would you think anything other than I'm gonna get him? Like, if not, why even get on the mat? Like, if
Exactly.
you don't think that you're gonna beat him, then why am I even getting on the mat?
And I think people just think I'm just supposed to bend the knee to him. I mean, in my head, yeah, he's great, but who
Yeah,
the hell, what? And one thing, a Bible quote or a verse, I should say, that I've always lived by, scripture, is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And that's something my mom has spoken over me since I was a little kid, and that's been my favorite verse growing up. And if I'm a man of Christ, and I am this person that I say I am, then why would I be afraid of any other man than Christ himself? So
that's a
it
fact.
confuses me, and I'm like, I don't get why these people think I'm supposed to be like afraid of him or whatever the heck they think this is.
Right.
I'm a competitor at the end of the day, and I want to compete. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter who's across that line for me. I'm going to compete, and I'm going to do what I got to do to win that match, whatever it is, whatever it takes. And another thing I live by is why not me? You know,
Yeah.
and
Why can't you be the next? Like, what's the? What do you think if somebody would rewind to Carter's freshman year, whoever he wrestled in the finals? I can't think off the top of my head, but his
Kimmer,
freshman,
Kimmer was his
Michael
first.
Kemmer. So he beats Kemmer his freshman year. Michael's a dog. He went to the same high school as me in Pennsylvania, Franklin Regional. Him and Spencer both did. But they it, I can guarantee you, and Kem was probably had a couple of years on him because Kem's been around for 36 years, I think. But no, but good man, no. But he I promise you, he'd have been like, I got him, I'm getting. And Kemmer was established at the time, like, but he wasn't gonna sit there and be like, you know, I'm not. I don't even know. Nah, he would have been like, bet I'm gonna get on this mat. I'm gonna work him, and he would have said the same thing that you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, so at the end of the day, like it kind of shocked me how he came. What I feel like I love what it brought to the sport, like how it's gonna highlight that match, how it's gonna. I
I mean,
think the sport needs more of it.
I think the duel is going to be crazy, when that time comes around. Hopefully, I'm the guy, even if I'm not, it is what it is. I've said this so many times. Obviously, I want to win a national title next year, but
Yeah,
if I wrestle off and I lose my wrestle off, or even if I win my wrestle off and the coaches say, hey, like, let's develop for another year, so be it. That's what I'm going to do.
absolutely.
I don't think they'd steer me in the wrong way. So,
They
I'm going
won't. Yeah,
to, whatever they say, do. If they told me to run through a brick wall, I'm going to say, how fast, how hard, how far I'm
100%.
going to go through it, whatever the case may be, So, and another thing I think people forget is that Starocci started at the same place I did, like he started being, this high school kid who won everything, dude, and I think people just thought he was just like this. He was just this great, like right then and there. And I'm like, that's news to me. I could
Right.
have, he came up just like everyone else did. And that's not,
100%.
again, that's not taking anything away from him. And like I said, he's a great wrestler, a great competitor, but I think what people need to realize is the same way he started, I started. And if he can do it, why can't I do it? And I think a lot of that doesn't even have to do with me as a person. I think it has to do with the school I'm at. But who cares? The Hawkeyes have shown that they can build national champions, and I'm just going to be the
Absolutely. And I
So
love it. And
it
keep
is.
that attitude. Don't let nobody ever like. And I don't think you would. Like I don't think you need to hear that from me in any kind of way because like. But I just don't ever lose that, bro. Like because I feel that's what champions are. Like they have to have that kind of confidence, like not a cockiness of like I'm the greatest, but like right on the line of it though, of like yo, or else what are we doing? You know what I mean? So like I respect it. But how did you feel about his comments? Like, and honestly, like verbatim, like this is exactly like so. You said what you said, but then he comes back and I just felt like he said, "I'll take care of business and you can get beat in front of your mom and daddy. It'll be at his home dojo too, and he can get whooped in front of his mommy and daddy. Like so, at the end of the day, like when you heard that that's what he said, I guess what went through your mind? Just kind of like, hey, whatever. Like the end of the day, this is let's go get it. Or was there did it bother you in any way?
And more than anything, it was a chuckle because there was a lot of people saying like, "Oh, Starocci's not bothered by this. Like Starocci could care less about this punk." I'm like, well, he took time out of his day to respond to me, so something must. I mean, I was like, these people are saying all this, and then like he said what he said, and I felt like a lot of them just shut their mouths because they're like, oh, and they just didn't have anything to say. But I mean, I heard it, and I was like, yeah, I was like, he's supposed to say that. If he didn't, it showed that he didn't. It showed that he had a little bit of fear in him. So one thing I am gonna say, you don't talk about mama, no matter what you're saying.
That's why I asked because and that's what really because since we've started talking, I see family's a big thing for you, especially mom and dad.
Exactly,
So like that's why I was kind of like, this makes it
exactly.
even more
I love
interesting.
my pops. I love my dad. But you talk about mama, those are words
Mm,
you're gonna have to eat, and I'm gonna make sure he does that when the time comes. So I mean, like it was what it was. He said what he said, but I'm gonna make sure he eats those words because you don't talk about mama. I'm from the South. We don't play those games. So
facts, facts, bro. I can respect it to the fullest, and I can tell you that the world is going to be ready for it too. And like you said, I hope hopefully, if you win this wrestle off and it all comes to its full circle when everybody gets to see it. And like you said, at the end of the day, like whatever Tom and Coach Terry and everybody down there in Iowa does for you, I think they're going to set you up for greatness, whether it is red shirt and you or whatever. I think, like you said, I believe you'll follow their path, and I think they'll put you on one that's just going to lead you to world champions, national championships. The sky's the limit. I think you chose an amazing school and they're gonna guide you the right way. But I'll be honest with you, like I hope that they don't redshirt you, bro, because like
and
I
I'm whatever they tell me to do, man. I'm ready to go. I mean, obviously, I know I'm not to the level that I want to be yet. Obviously, there's so many more levels I need to jump, so many more stones that need to be turned. But I feel great about where I am right now, and I'm only going to get better as this time till summer. I mean, we have so much time till season starts. I mean, it's not a lot, but it is so much time to get better. And
better, yes.
I took this week off after Pan AMS, and I've been kind of watching the Fargo finals, and I watched ranking series tournament. Watch the women and men wrestle, So I'm just this week I'm getting back to it, and I'm ready to get back to work. I'm ready to get back on that horse. I'm ready to train hard again. After when you're a week away from it, you're like, God dang, dude, I miss it. Like I feel like I'm going crazy. I'm like sitting at home, not wrestling. I tried to like Morningstar to get me on the mat. He wouldn't let me. I'm like, dude, like I'm gonna go crazy. And he's like, so I wait to jump back into the fire on Monday, because it's right now from now to when the NCAA championships are, it's just time. It's just getting better and better, match after match, practice after practice, whatever it is, and I think by time NCAA's comes 2024, if I'm the guy, I'm gonna be ready to win a national title, so.
I believe that, and I don't say this a lot about true freshmen. I honestly, Mendez was the first last year. He was that true freshman that wrestled that I was like, yo, this kid, he he might be able to get it done. And he ended up placing fifth. Had one hell of a tournament. He wrestled, and 133 is loaded.
Yeah.
But even 174, same thing. But this year, if there's a true freshman that does come in, and I think Gabe Arnold's that guy. And that says a lot because you have so many dogs coming in this year, like just such a class that you got. I mean, from everywhere, but I think you could get it done. Yeah, I do. I think 74 is a possibility for you to do some work, bro. I do.
Thank you.
Especially after seeing you this, like, man, dude, like I've always loved your wrestling. Seen you at Iron Man, seen you at Powerade live. So it's always, and what's crazy is like these were the times I got to see you were times that you would consider your downtime, and you were still unbelievable. You know what I mean? So like it's the future's bright, bro, and I can't wait.
Thank you. A lot of maturing to do to get to the ultimate goal of being an Olympic champ, and a lot of wrestling to do until then. But I think I'm in the right place for it. I really, truly, truly believe I'm in the right place for it, and I can't express that more. I don't think I've ever felt more at home in a place around people. Just it's crazy, but I feel like literally I've said this multiple times. I literally fit into this place like a puzzle piece. And everything just feels great. Everything comes full circle day by day. It's awesome, man. I'm grateful to be here. I'm blessed, to be in the position that I am in today. It's just great. And I'm freaking stoked for season to start. I'm just ready to hit the ground running, preseason running all day, whatever the case may be, man. I'm excited for it. I'm just excited to wrestle and, put on for all these Hawkeye homers and fans, and even the people that aren't fans of me wearing a Hawkeye singlet, but they're still fans of me.
You're looking at one, bro. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm an Ohio guy, so I'm a Buckeye guy, and I keep it 100 with everybody. But like at the end of the day, like I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Gabe Arnold, and I promise you, like regardless of anybody you wrestle, bro, like I root for you, and I really hope for nothing but the best and success, and you can get everything that you want, man.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
For sure. And hey, actually, while we were touching on it, whenever you were going through that and being at Iowa, what you so like you kind of touched on it earlier. Whenever you said that with the recruiting process and getting all these phone calls, like what was that staple? I'll leave you alone after this, but I just kind of wanted to like what made that Iowa's it? Like what separated Iowa from everybody else? What made you make that commitment?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, like even when I took my visit, I felt like this was the place for me, man. Like talking with the coaches, they were just so upfront with me about everything, and just like about school, about the wrestling, just about everything, man. And like we had a lot of kids on that visit, and there was a lot of kids who committed on that visit. Well, I think it was like 2-3 kids who committed on that visit.
It's a heck of a class coming.
Yeah, it was crazy, but it just like I came here and just the coaches were up front, the people were great, the fans were awesome. Like it was just awesome, man. And I loved every bit of my visit. Even I literally was sick my whole visit here. I literally felt awful, but I still just had a great time. I ran out on the field when Iowa beat Penn State in the football game. It was freaking awesome, man. There's no other way to say it. It was just awesome, and it just felt right. I visited. Iowa was my second visit. Yeah, Maryland was my first visit. Iowa was my second visit. And I went to all these other schools, and they were all great in their own, respective ways. But I was always just like, yeah, this was awesome, but what about Iowa? Go to the next visit. It was like, yeah, this was great. What about Iowa though? And like,
Yeah,
it
just
it
felt it.
sense, and I felt at peace here. I felt at home. Even with the weather being cold as piss, and me being
Yeah, Georgia guy.
super humid, all that hot as Hades, you name it, dude. Like literally come here, complete opposite. But it felt right, man. It literally just felt right. And
At least that little bit of time at STEM got you a little bit
yeah, it got me a
prepared
little bit
for it.
acclimated to it. I got used. I wasn't super like when I saw snow here this year. I wasn't like, oh my god, what is this? I was just like, all right, got to bundle up, whatever. But now I feel like I'm officially in an Iowan. I'm officially in Iowa now because like even in 30-degree weather, I'm wearing shorts. Shorts and a short sleeve. So I feel like I'm there now. So.
Hey, bro, I grew up in Pennsylvania and Ohio my whole life, and I still don't do that. So kudos, my guy. You are a soldier.
But yeah, man, it just like I said, there's no other way to say it besides it felt right. There was no like felt right, look, white, whatever. But it wasn't like there was just like this single aspect that was just like, yeah, I'm coming here. But it was just everything combined: coaches, teammates, people around it, the fans, the history of Iowa wrestling as a whole. Not even like not even Hawkeyes wrestling, just the whole state. Man, it was crazy. And I came here, and it was exactly how I thought it, how people explained it to me. It was all of that, and it was a great feeling to like have what everyone was saying be true, because it was like, I want to be at a place where I don't have to be lied to and people are upfront to me about stuff, and everyone was right. So I was like, yep, let's check number one. And I feel like, this is the place to be. So.
Yes, sir. I mean, I tell you what though, like everything, man. You got me excited for the future for you, man. I'll definitely. I think everybody is. I think that you're gonna light the world on fire, bro. I do, and you got the right attitude. It seems like you got the right people around you, which is also a huge part of it. And amazing parents to back it, which is awesome, man. And I just keep grinding, bro. I
Thank
promise you, it'll come.
Thank you
So
for having me on this too. I know we've been trying to figure it out forever. I'm glad we finally got the time,
for
right,
sure.
all that. So thank you.
All right, thank you, man. I appreciate you sticking with me through it and just staying in touch and making it happen, bro. And
Hey,
uh, honestly, hopefully we can do it again. And,
heck yeah, heck
maybe in like a year or two from now, you can tell me how it was to get up on that podium as a true freshman and and
absolutely.
and,
I'll
and
let you
shut them haters up, my guy.
know. Absolutely. I'm glad. Like I said, I'm glad you let me on. I'm glad we figured it out. No, awesome. Hopefully in 2 years, we'll say it now. A year from now, 2 years from now, we'll do this again. So
Yes, sir. I like you. I appreciate you, Gabe, more than anything, bro.
thank you, man.
All right, my guy. Be careful. Have a good night.
Always you too.
Yes, sir. Gabe Arnold. Can't believe I messed up that he ain't on a world team. Where I missed that, I apologize. But if you would just the way he wrestled at Pan AMS, I mean, he walked through it. Just shocking that he's not. I watched him go through the U.S. Open, get Rocco in the finals, and Rocco's an animal. I'm a huge fan of Rocco, Ohio State kid, heading Ohio State. But just man, he has this confidence about him that I love. A lot of people might look at it and be like, she's cocky and not like it. And I think there's a borderline there because like me and my uncle, um, who plays, who's usually my go-to when I talk wrestling, but uh, there's certain types of cockiness and there's a level of it, and there's certain ones that we seem to both agree when it comes to it. But like Gabe, I feel like I love where his mentality is. He's right on that level of like some people don't take it the right way, but like at the end of the day, like what do you want him to do? You know what I mean? Like be afraid of the Staroccis or the seniors and juniors or these national champs. Like, no, like they weren't their freshman year, they're chasing a four-time national champ or chasing their fourth, national championship because they went at him. Like they didn't back down. So you got to respect the boy for wanting to go at him like that. Like, and I think the sport needs more of it. Like, I love wrestling and I want the sport, but nothing to grow. Just keep blowing up. And I think if we had more people that was like Gabe Arnold, I think it would help. I do. I don't think it would hurt it in any way. Like having a true freshman come in and say, you know what, I'm stopping him from getting his fourth. He's overrated. You know what I mean? And like he said, it wasn't so much of a knock on him. It was just a way of looking at it like, hey, I'm coming. I'm coming. And anybody can look at it how they want, but I mean the boy's got talent. And if you don't believe me, like go watch his state tournament at City High. Go watch the Pan AMS. Which I get Starocci's on a level of, and I get that's what everybody will say, but I'm not saying he could beat him. I'm not saying he can't, but I think he can run with him. Yep, bet, and we'll find out. Hopefully we do. Hopefully we do. Depending on the red shirt and everything. But at the end of the day, man, awesome kid. Uh, really enjoyed it. Can't believe I mixed up on his on that being on U20 team. It's gonna eat me up all night. But at the end of the day, like I put a lot of time into this, so that's why it's bothering me. But at the end of the day, man, I appreciate y'all watching. Like, subscribe, keep rolling with us at Saged. And yeah, just keep following, man. Appreciate y'all. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.